to the port in LA, or in Los Angeles, to look and see how they were doing things. And a lot of it are these trucks, and they run on compressed natural gas. So it's a lot more efficient. Everything in LA runs on that. Any big vehicle, their buses, their semi-trucks, all that kind of stuff. So we're not talking about diesel emissions. And they cart these containers around. I mean, they're huge there. Sure. And they just drive back and forth in this loop within their port area to get from the ship to the warehouse, where it's unloaded and then put on the trains. So there are definitely some valid concerns that opponents to the port have. But at this point, we've got a port that is under construction. The building is there. It's been financed, approved by Salt Lake City Council, approved by the state. I don't think there's anything to stop it. However, and I've done this, Salt Lake City was tasked with zoning, and I submitted a letter of requests for zoning when I was chair of the River District Chamber regarding landscaping, for instance, where it doesn't make sense to require grass in that area when it's sandy, and we need to incorporate the existing environment that's there, which makes it a little bit more friendly. The other thing that I asked for is you have water runoff, so make sure that gravel is used and the environment is as close to what was there before. Use concrete only where that's necessary. Otherwise, when it rains, then you'll have unnatural runoff that will go in places that it's not supposed to go and can have environmental concerns. And then the rail traffic, that's a big concern for me, because where I live, if there's a train, you get completely cut off on 9th West and 8th South, 9th South, 17th South. So those are things that affect our daily lives, commerce within our neighborhood. And building another rail yard at the port will divert those trains and hopefully take a lot of them out of use. Eventually, I'm hoping that Union Pacific will decide that they don't need any of the hubs that they have on the west side in my neighborhood, and we'll be able to utilize that for some other higher and better purpose.
Great. So tell us about, let's skip to minimum wage because we're running out of time, and you mentioned that was like a hot point right now.
Yeah, so when we talk about what's going on in Salt Lake with the high cost of housing and the higher cost of living that we've ever had, but more stagnant wages, I think it's time to look at Utah is one of those states where they don't require, or they don't prohibit cities from establishing their own minimum wages. And the federal minimum wage has been stuck at $7.25 for over a decade, and it doesn't make any sense any longer.
Yeah, $7.25. Can you imagine making that? I mean, that's like $800, $900 take home, maybe.
Yeah, a month. Yeah,
40 hours a week.
You can.
How do you live on that?
You can barely find a studio apartment for that in Salt Lake City. You can't, and we're stuck in this environment where we have housing up here and the cost of living right here, and wages are down here. There's not a reasonable way to bring these things down, but we can bring this up. So we need to look at creating a citywide higher cost minimum wage. There needs to be some study on it as to what that dollar amount should be. There also needs to be some study on it as to what carve-outs should be made. For instance, people under the age of 18, that 16 to 18 year range, very entry level, that are not living on their own, do they need that high cost minimum wage? Small businesses, if you're an employer that only has 1 or 2 employees, it can be burdensome to get your business started if you need employees. So we don't want to hurt small business. I don't want to hurt small business.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It's hard as a small business in general to find anyone to work for you,
absolutely.
Even if you pay more.
Absolutely. And a lot of employers are realizing this, and they are hiring people at higher wages and bumping people up in order to keep them, there was an article yesterday about Piper Down and Dave Morris's bar, where other bar managers are coming in and into his bar and telling people, hey, come work for us, we'll pay you $2.50 more an hour.
Oh, wow.
And I believe in the free market, but creating a higher cost minimum wage in Salt Lake City will tell the market that we need to improve wages.
Interesting. What would you say it should be?
Well, we all know through Bernie Sanders that the $15 an hour minimum wage has been thrown out there, but when it comes to housing in Salt Lake City, if you want to live here, $15 an hour isn't going to cut it unless you have maybe 2 of those jobs, and a roommate or a partner. You're married. You throw in a car payment and kids and insurance and taxes and any of those things onto it, and food.
People need food.
We gotta eat.
Yeah. I don't know what's up with that. So in closing, what would you like to say? What would you like to share with people?
Well, I would like to let people know that they can find out more about my positions at nigelforsaltlake.com. If you can also register to volunteer, you can donate. I actually created part of it as a living, breathing website. So there are new articles that pop up on different subjects, like the crime statistics that were released yesterday. You can find me on Facebook.
That sounds interesting. What are the crime statistics? Have they gone up?
They have gone up.
I'm pretty sure.
They have gone up. Depending on whether you look at year over year or over 5 years, and then it breaks down into every different category. But I have a post up about that yesterday with the images and all the statistics for District 2 and citywide. So you can take a look at it there. You can find me on Twitter and Facebook. Check out my LinkedIn if you want to know about my personal career history. And I'm on Instagram.
And I will have those links and his website on the comments or on the actual description. Thank you so much for being on our show. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
We do the clap here. And thank you guys for listening and watching the Arctic Performing Show. Show that performing your best, as he is, by being willing to be a public servant, because it's not easy work. You might get mad at people out there. I know I do sometimes, but I also get they have to deal with a lot of flack, because no matter what he says or does, someone's going to be mad at him for it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, huh? And that's true with everyone, right? Keep your eyes and ears out. Our next show will be Friday at 12 o'clock with Vinay. He'll be talking about Salt Lake City young professionals. And we'll be live at noon for that show on Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeart, all that. And keep your eyes and ears out for whatever else we're doing. And catch you guys later. Thanks.